Justice is indivisible. Injustice anywhere is a threat to justice everywhere.
If any words that I have spoken have commanded attention, that is only because they find an echo in the breasts of those of every land and of every race who love freedom and are the foes of tyranny.
You are not our queens. You are not our kings. You are not our gods. We do not belong to you. We are not your slaves. We stand as free humans that stood from the beginning of time against the strong men.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to another weekly podcast, Wednesday, 27th April 2022. My name is Manny Cinder. I am your host, and I have been joined by still a very pink lobster called Banksy. Good evening, Banksy.
Hey, how's it going, Mr. Manny? How is everyone out there in the world of the internet? I'm a little bit late to the party. Is this over yet, or are we still doing this?
Well, okay. So what does your hat say?
Is this Trump 2020? I think this one didn't age well. This particular cap.
Well done. Hello to everybody in the chat. Glad you have joined us. We have an absolute epic show lined for you. We certainly will be tested with our journalistic skills today. We shall be joined half past the hour by a gentleman who goes by the name of Public Annoyance. I'll reintroduce him shortly before he comes on, but just for those of you that have not come across the handle Public Annoyance, he is very lively on Telegram. He has a YouTube channel. But more importantly, he seems to be ruffling a lot of feathers and saying various things against the Tommy Robinson camp. Now, I personally am yet to see any evidence. However, thanks to Speaker's Corner Online, they have helped to arrange this interview. As you guys know, he was supposed to come on last week. Unfortunately, he could not come on. But we're going to give him the platform and ask him a few questions. So that will be in approximately 25 minutes. But Banksy, I believe you have the leading material for this part of the show.
Yeah, well, I want to cover very quickly three things which I've already covered myself. So I really want your take on these, Manny. So if, Manny, you are ready to share my screen. Let me see. Are all the incriminating evidence hidden? Yes. Because as you all know, sharing screens is fraught with danger these days. Many people have doxed themselves sharing their screen. Yeah, quickly, it's very quick. This obviously Elon Musk buys Twitter. I'm going to play this background of Elon Musk buying it for, I think the final price is about $44 billion. Now, he's professed to make it a free speech platform and open it up. Obviously, this is a Fox News segment, but I'm not interested in the Fox News segment. I'm actually interested in your take, Manny. What do you think of Elon Musk purchasing Twitter? Manny?
Oh, sorry, you're asking me right now?
Yeah. Give me your take. What do you think? What are your thoughts on Elon Musk buying Twitter?
Okay, I need to answer that in the same way as I would answer if somebody asked me what do I think of Elon Musk. I think Elon Musk is a crook. I think his background is disgusting. I think he's a lie. He didn't create Tesla. He bought Tesla and rubbed the founders out. He also believes in a universal income. He believes in putting microchips in people's brains. He is very much a globalist. Now, isn't it funny? As soon as platforms like Speakers Corner Online and other independent social media free speech platforms came along, and then Trump is about to launch his social media platform.
It's already launched.
We now have this globalist puppet who we're supposed to believe with his left-wing communistic outlook that he's some kind of freedom lover. He's just a puppet. He's been sent in to capture and control the Twitter market. I don't believe in him. I think he should go back to his father's emerald mine in South Africa and live happily ever after, because he's bad news for us freedom-loving people.
All right. Well, one thing I would like to let you know: Truth Social, which is Donald Trump's platform, has actually already launched. It is available on the App Store and the Play Store as we speak. So that has launched. It has had a lot of teething issues, but it is available to download. Again, if you want to share my screen, I don't know.
Yeah, and on that note, I believe the iOS app for Speakers Corner Online and obviously the Android app is available to download. So anybody that hasn't got the Speakers Corner Online apps, download it and join us. It's wicked.
Exactly. I mean, here we are promoting other social networks, social platforms, even though we actually are supposed to be promoting only the social platform, social network platform for Speakers Corner Online. But it's just in the interest of fairness. All these platforms have launched. So your take is, in a nutshell, that he is just simply doing the bidding of the Davos globalists, and he is just simply making Twitter appear to be, pleasant or welcoming to the right-wing groups. Correct. Which are now fleeing to places like Truth Social and Getter, and of course Speakers Corner Online, and alternatives, effectively, to the major Silicon Valley dominated social network environments or platforms. So you're saying that he is just simply a shill for the globalists.
Correct.
As always. Okay. Moving on very quickly. Johnny Depp and Amber Heard. What are your take on this? Now, again, I'm just using these images as just imagery. It's not that I care about the images, but yeah, I just want your take again on Johnny Depp and Amber Heard's situation. I know we're not exactly a gossip channel, but it is interesting and relevant to the people at large. A lot of the internet is buzzing with it. I mean, there are entire YouTube channels devoted to just streaming this nonsense 24/7. I'm not joking. They're live streaming the whole thing, the whole court case, like all the time. And it's like, dear God, who really cares what two rich people want to squeeze out of each other? But just your take on the whole thing. Do you, first and foremost, do you believe Amber Heard or do you believe Johnny Depp?
Okay, I have a confession to make. I've not even watched a minute of any of this, to be honest. I have no idea what's happening. I actually have no interest with these type of things. But I do know there's been a lot of hoo-ha, because there's been a few posts on the timeline on the Speakers Corner Online, and apparently, and this is just a headline I read, that he was laughing and made the ex-wife look like some kind of crazy nutcase. But please tell us, because I know if you're bringing it up as conversation, I'm sure you're going to have a funny twist on it.
Well, not really funny. I don't know. I mean, it might be funny to some people. My take on it is, from what I've seen from Amber Heard and her testimony and the behavior and all the things that she's trying to do to make him look like the abuser, even though she's physically abused him. I mean, there's no doubt that she hit him. There's audio and ample evidence of her physically hitting him many times. And also, she took a giant dump on his bed. She took a dump on his bed, on his side of the bed that they both sleep in. I mean, the woman is unhinged. And my philosophy has always been, and I believe this is something that men have been told by their fathers since the dawn of time, never put your dick in crazy. When you do that, then things go bad. Things go very bad. And people like Angelina Jolie had warned him about not going with this woman because she's nuts. And he ignored those warnings. He ignored the red flags. Clearly, when a woman takes a poo in your bed, I think that is a red flag that all men should be aware of. If she takes a dump in your bed, kick her to the curb. Kick her to the street. So yeah, as far as I'm concerned, Amber Heard belongs to the street, and Johnny Depp should have got rid of her years ago. But obviously, Johnny himself. Don't get me wrong, Johnny himself is broken. He's got a man. He's a man of many psychological issues, but he doesn't deserve this. He never really assaulted her, and he doesn't need his entire life destroyed because of a lying, crazy woman. Effectively, okay. Moving on swiftly. The French elections. The French elections. What do we think? What are your thoughts, Monsieur Manny?
I was a little bit excited at the prospect of Le Pen winning. I was hoping, I had my fingers and toes and other things crossed. But unfortunately, and I can't believe how, the globalist shill, the globalist puppet, Macron, turned it around again. I'm not sure how that's possible. The whole country hates him. Again, the whole country hated Modi in India, and he's managed to pay for votes somehow. But I don't get it. Explain to me, when the whole country is broken because of this man, how can he win the election? Explain that.
Well, I mean, I think I can see from several points of view. Number one, the Muslim population in France is quite substantial now, and so they have a major voting bloc, and their choices were from as South Park once put it, a big giant douche or a turd sandwich. And so for the Muslim population, they had to. I mean, there was a lady that was literally saying, I have to vote for Macron because I can't allow Le Pen to win because she's even worse than Macron. She wants to take our hijabs away. That was the line that was sold to the Muslim populations of France, that Le Pen is going to ban the hijab. Not that I would be entirely against that, but of course, I'm an extremist Islamophobe, as some would put it. But as far as
hasn't Macron banned the niqab?
Yeah, face coverings. Well, I mean, it's a bit of a weird situation because of the COVID situation. Everybody had to wear face coverings in France, masks up on all planes and all sorts of places. So it's a bit of a weird thing now that they're saying you can't wear the niqab when everybody's wearing face masks because of it seems like ridiculous to put a law to ban niqabs. But I mean, they were trying to ban religious garments in all public places like government places, government buildings and stuff like that. They were trying to ban even the little yarmulke that the Jews wear. So all religious attire. But the thing is, as I said, with this whole COVID thing, it's a bit of a weird situation on how they can actually ban face coverings now. But nevertheless, the reason I say Macron won, and by the way, this was the lowest turnout for voters in like the history of, in recent histories of France election cycles. So there was a very low turnout, first of all. And that's what Macron actually banked on, was that the low turnout would actually favor him, which I guess it did. And also the Muslims had to vote effectively in a bloc against Le Pen, because Le Pen has a lot of baggage from her father, which she simply cannot shake off. Now, I don't know whether she'll run again, because this is, I believe, her third time now. And although she's extremely close, I don't think she's ever going to really shed the baggage of her father enough for the French population to really get behind her. I think another individual from the same party but with less history and less baggage may actually be able to turn it around, because the French are exceedingly fed up with the globalists and the euro tards or euro. Yeah, the euro.
Have you noticed the number under Macron, the percentage 666?
Well, it's 6606. You are stretching a little. If it was 6666, then maybe I'd be a
Come
bit
on,
more
man. Give me
concerned.
something. Give me
But
something.
yeah. I mean, drop that zero. If it was 66.60, then that would actually be even more. But that zero there, maybe, I don't know. I mean, you guys. By the way, in the Bible, a lot of people say it's actually 999. It's not 666, or it's another number. So these are just folklore. The folklore. Anyway, so yeah, that's what we have. We have another 5 years of Macron's, I guess, essential dictatorial rule. He has been pushed by this Le Pen and this situation to the right a lot more, at least coming up to this election. Of course, he'll do U-turns on a bunch of stuff afterwards, and he will simply do the bidding of his masters at Davos. So these people are all World Economic Forum shills. So we're not really gonna get much of a difference. I don't even think Le Pen would have the sort of backbone to go against the World Economic Forum's plans. I think all of these supposed oppositions are simply controlled oppositions. There is no one in politics in the modern era which really deviates that much from what they've been told to do. It's just some are much more on board, like Canada's what's his name? Oh Christ, what was that idiot in Canada called? I forgot his name. Anyway, the guy, the president of Canada, versus the president of France. These guys are just simply on a spectrum, but they're all in the same area as far as the World Economic Forum is concerned. If you look at the World Economic Forum, these people are all on board. And I think what you said about Elon Musk is exactly the same as well. These are all from the same camp. They just happen to be slightly varied towards whether they are totally socialist or a little bit socialist or a little bit less. So it's just like it's like you've got the actual Overton window. The Overton window is all to the left, and it's just depending on how far to the left these people are, or they're a little bit closer to the center. But these people are all minimum center left. There is no conservative amongst these lot.
Indeed. All right, brilliant. So just to let everybody know that's listening, we will have public annoyance on the panel very shortly, past, so that's less than 15 minutes. In the meantime, we're going to discuss some more topics. I've got something to share as well. Let me share my screen. I'm not sure. Anyway, so copyright to actual coverage, whose video it is. This is a bit alarming. So if you don't like police dogs mauling members of the public, this video is not for you, but let's get in it. 20th of April, Oxford Street, London. All right, let's stop it there. So, believe it or not, Banksy, that wasn't some third world country in Asia or in Africa or in South America. That was actually our very own capital of England, London, where police, what seemed to be quite clearly allowed, encouraged the police dogs, who are essentially trained killers in some respect, to set upon and maul members of the public. What do you make of that?
Yeah, that's well, that's actually harrowing. I haven't seen anything like that on the streets of England in a long time now. I mean, the last time I could think of, even during the Black Lives Matter in 2020, they I saw horses sort of bolting and trampling maybe some people, but never dogs released on people. I haven't actually seen. I mean, the thing is, I don't know whether these things happen in other parts of Britain, but I certainly haven't seen something like that in London. I don't know what that protest or what that issue, what that situation was. Was that to do with any particular protest, or was it just people?
I'm not too sure, to be honest, because the video didn't say it.
What's the context of that situation? That's what I'm interested in, because I mean, I can certainly see that it's terrible, but were these protesters? Were they thieves? Were they party goers? What happened is really essential. The other thing is, if you could,
but regardless of what happened, the police should not allow police dogs to do that.
Well, I mean, the fact is that police dogs are part of the sort of plethora of weapons effectively available to the police, and the police can use them at their discretion. So they have the right to use them. Sure. It all depends on why they've chosen to, why was I mean, because it wasn't just one, it was several dog units. Correct. I've never seen that many dog units in one location.
If anybody wants to actually see more of a full video, you can go to Resistance GB. He has a more of a extended version. But having said that, sorry to cut you off there, Banksy, we have been joined by Public Annoyance in the back chat. So I would say we cut our news short, which is a shame, because I had some very interesting evidence about chemtrails to show Banksy, and I'm pretty sure he would have he would have joined the flat earther community.
Just squeeze it in at the end again. Evidence number 3052.
Right, without further ado, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to get onto the panel. Perhaps somebody that you have not come across, but we're going to let him introduce himself. So added to the stream now is Public Annoyance. Good evening, gentlemen.
Hi, good evening there. Camera, mic, all working?
Yes, your camera is on now. It's good. Good to see you, mate.
Fantastic. Yep.
Good evening. So please, well, let me set the backgrounds, and then you can introduce yourself. So I believe Max from Speakers Corner Online messaged you via the YouTube channel that we're on at the moment. After you left a message, and one thing led to another, you couldn't come on when he wanted you to, but you guys communicated. Then I got involved. I think you messaged me today on Telegram. We got the conversation going, and you're on today. Perhaps you can introduce yourself. How is it that you're becoming famous, and we can perhaps proceed with the conversation.
Well, my name is Andy. Obviously, I'm known as Public Annoyance. Been about on scene, let's say, in London protests for about 4 years now, from 2018. Started off on my own agenda with fathers' rights, justice for fathers, the cost of court cases to get right to see your own kids just for a fallout. Then I got attracted to the Tommy Robinson movement, and that's where the fun began.
Okay. So you currently, you have previously been a supporter of Tommy Robinson, is that right? And now yes, you are anything but a supporter.
Not no more of them at all. I followed them. I got close with the Team Tommy. I don't know if you know about them. They're quite well known within the ranks. They have a group that's known as the Tommy Circle, and that's the circle of people that are at the protest quite often. And they're like their intel gatherers that get intel and find out about people, their names, find out the good and the bads about them. And it's what they do with that information that I've learned. It's got me the most. Blackmail. I'm not going to go into it straight away. We will go into it as you question me. But it took a few years of learning of nothing happening from the Tommy Robinson himself. It's all beg, donations. And I have not seen no proof of what he's done for the victims with safeguarding measures. And he's taken millions of pounds.
Okay, so the first obvious question is, sorry, you said it was Andy, right?
Yeah, Andy. Call me Andy.
Okay, Andy, the first obvious question is, can you confirm, so you're not saying that there's no such thing as Muslim grooming gangs, are you?
There's definitely Muslim grooming gangs. I'm not denying that. Never will deny that.
Okay, good.
If you're calling out grooming gangs, you need to call out all rapists of all kinds. Otherwise, you're going to get that tar by the mainstream media, and you're not going to get far with an audience. You're only going to attract that same audience, mostly the far right.
So would you agree with me by saying yes or no, or explaining whatever? Would you agree with me? I believe that the grooming gang crime, the way the Muslim grooming gangs operate, is very different to how paedophiles operate. Paedophilia, in my opinion, is a sexual abuse. It's perversion, that type of abuse. Where grooming gangs are not necessarily paedophiles.
No, they seem to operate in a very evil way. Grooming gangs, it's where the victims are coming from in the first place that worries me. The cover-ups with the police. I mean, look at the groomer report scandal. 38% of the ethnicity hasn't been recorded, which is quite scary. A lot of people don't pick up on that.
So in that respect, on that, so we agree. I'm glad we agree on that, because it's important to clarify that. So in that respect, would you also agree with me that Tommy Robinson has done a good job by highlighting these crimes and bringing it to the forefront?
I'm not going to deny that. Yes. I mean, I wasn't aware of this until I had got to know Tommy Robinson, what he's about for his Oxford Union speech. Now, I believe that he may have come into this with good intentions, but I believe the fame, money, drugs has got the better of the movement, in my opinion, with what I've witnessed and seen.
Okay, fine. So, Banksy, did you have any questions for Andy at this point? Because now I really want you to go forward. You're on mute, by the way. And now I want you to move forward to have a look at what Andy's discrepancies are with the Tommy movement. Did you have any questions at this point?
Well, I mean, my thoughts and questions were really around what you said to me last week in regards to some of the partying and potentially the people that Tommy's group were partying with, and also if you want to get into the Danny Tomo leaving the group and the reasons behind that, those are generally my thoughts, and I would like to, if you have insight in those, I would love to get into that. But that's it really. That it's a general conversational sort of area.
Sure. Before Andy comes in, I'll just like to say, so Andy, when Max from Speakers Corner Online brought your channel to my attention, what had happened literally hours before, a friend of mine had pointed your Telegram channel out and stated that your Telegram channel was producing a lot of evidence, as he called it, about the Tommy movement. I spent nearly 2 hours, maybe 1.5 hours going through the media, but I didn't see any evidence myself, and admittedly I was rushing through it. So is there evidence on the media that confirms what Banksy just outlined, or are these just rumors going around?
There's a lot of rumors going around by different groups of people which are getting tired, hope not hate, which is quite normal if you're on the Tommy side of things. The evidence that is coming out is the fact that he's had multiple companies that have gone in liquidation every year in different names around his family. And that their evidence, the only problem with my channel, the way it's been set up, it hasn't been set up to take down Tommy Robinson. It was set up back in 2018 as public annoyance, pointing out the annoyance in the public. And it's just grassroots, and it's become what it has today. Now, there's a lot of accusations going around. The Danny Tomo I can't get into too much because it's an ongoing case. All I know is about revealing the name of the child. People have got mixed opinions on that. But there is accusations that tally with other people that do not talk to each other regarding hotel rooms with Britain First. I've also got a witness statement by two with what happened in that hotel room. And there is a video going around that I know who has it. It hasn't been put out public. DFLA had chased Danny Tomo out of Parliament one time a few years back because of this video. I do know the contents of this video, and I'm not going to speak of this because I haven't got the video to put out. But when it does get put out, that's when it's going to be put forward to the police, because drugs, alcohol, and victims do not mix.
Okay, so we can't obviously that's accusation of evidence you have seen.
I understand that.
Yeah, so these are accusations about evidence based on evidence that you have seen that you're not in a position to share. But perhaps you could take a few moments, just calmly tell us and the audience what is, you may have already covered it in some ways, but just tell us, take your time, without me and Banksy interrupting, what actually is your grievance with Tommy Robinson, because we agree that he's done a good job so far highlighting it, and that they are Muslim grooming gangs with specialized torturing type of crime. So, but after that, it seems to me, to summarize, that your issue is with what goes on behind closed doors, perhaps.
Yes, around the team.
Yeah, so just tell us about it. I'll be quiet and lay down your case, and then we'll discuss it afterwards.
Okay, right. It started off a few years back. We're out on protest, meeting up with Ginger Tony and crew of Team Tommy. I can't name exactly every single one of them because they all go by random names. Ginger Tony is quite well known, very well known. Basically, around about New Year's Eve last year, the year before, I had a split up with an ex. I walked out because of the drug abuse. Smithy, he's done some steward work for Team Tommy in the past, and very recently. He's known for being abusive with women, with drugs and alcohol, drink driving, with kids. And basically, Ginger Tony was acting on my behalf, saying what he's doing is wrong. I had stuff of my own, personal stuff, been held back by the ex. I had my stuff ripped, laptop smashed, blah, 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 all the personal stuff. But getting to the point, Smithy post, there was some videos that went on Tommy Robinson News channel of Paul Smith acting like a hero. And I asked Tony, what's going on? You know what he's about. And if you really care for the victims, why are you portraying this guy? I mean, he is he's well known in the movement. Recently, after the steward incident of Rape Britain episode 1, it came out that he had lost his child through violence. I don't know 100% on the story of that. And 2, he had just recently been beaten up because of him beating his ex up. And the funny thing is, Ginger Tony knew about his abusive past. She was warned about the things that he had done to his ex, Leah Graham's another one that's in the circle of Tommy Robinson team. And the fact that Leah Graham come to me with some evidence about Paul Smith's videos were put on Telegram, on Tommy Robinson News, through Ginger Tony begging one of the administration called Nemesis and Nemo. Don't know his name properly, but originally she had denied that and said that she's trying to stop the Paul Smith post going on there. Because if you're going to put up someone that's well known to the public for what he's doing, you're going to distract people. Now, if you're running a movement, you don't want to distract people with known drug abusers or abusers to women. So it's gone from there. Around about August, September, I decided to start speaking out. The team, it's mainly the team I'm going to talk about tonight. The team don't really care for the movement. All they care is for the partying, the drugs, and the income of the donations. I'm not saying they're getting paid, because I don't know about that stuff. Then I started looking into Tommy Robinson and in the past of all the begs and the donation calls. And then I'm starting to look, what differences has he made to the victims, and what has he done in persuading the government and the police into why certain things were missed, i.e. the ethnicity, the 38% on the Green Report. Looking into donations given towards a bus. The bus, I believe, is rented to him. It's not actually his. It's a guy called Barry. Barry, I don't know his surname. He owns the bus. Again, last episode, he begged for money for their screen. I don't understand why, if you own a bus with a big TV on it, why would you want to beg for money for another screen? And then the question that I've put to Team Tommy quite regularly is, what has he done to safeguard the victims and as a foundation for new victims to come to be safeguarded? And none of the team can answer that question. All they can do is throw accusations and abuse my way. I've had Ginger Tony turn up to my workplace threatening. Obviously, I haven't been there. I'm a long distance truck driver, but she turned up on the weekend. I've had my boss inundated with emails with accusations that I'm a paedophile, I'm a nonce, I do drugs. Now, I'm going to be honest here. When I was around that team, I was around that shit, the drugs, and I pulled myself away from it. As for the alcohol, the abuse, the threats and blackmails I had witnessed in the last few months before I walked away from Team Tommy, which would have been around about June, July. And basically from here on and onwards, as I've been posting out, I've seen other people start to speak out. I've had people that used to be amongst Team Tommy come to me with their version of what happened and the threats that have gone their way. They won't speak out because they want to protect their own families. And this is what gives me the passion to do it, because of my situation I'm in. I don't live anywhere. I work in my truck Monday to Friday, long distance. I have a van, camper van conversion, and I go travel the weekends, which is my holidays. That's how I live my life. So I'm in a position where I know I can put out whatever it is that I've got to put out on these people and show publicly what they do when someone speaks out against their agenda. And that's what the Public Annoyance channel has mainly been about, as well as sharing other people's news that I ain't going to say are left wing or hope not hate. These are people that are not known to the public. One claims to be a Marine, which would be the at your mum on Getter. I don't know if you're on Getter at all and you follow this guy. We're following this guy.
I've heard of that handle before.
Yeah, we're following.
Yeah,
I don't know.
Getter, but I don't know
who
about
he is. I don't know who he is. Claims to be a veteran Royal Marine. He knows a lot of intel about what they've been doing. A lot of intel.
Is he a ex Tommy sort of in a circle now?
I have no idea.
Sort of ex, sorry, a person who's speaking out, or you don't really know, but he seems to know a lot about the inner circles and inner workings of the Tommy group.
Yeah, we don't know where he's come from. Don't know his background. All we know is a Getter account called At Your Mum, and the information that's coming out is quite hard hitting. And the fact is that he's put the questions to Team Tommy and Tommy Robinson, just like I have with my stuff, and instantly, without answering the question, they block you.
Could it be that this individual could possibly, are you sure that this person isn't still in the inner circle? He's definitely an external individual now.
I couldn't tell you. I honestly have no idea. All I know, whatever he's putting out is interesting.
Okay.
One of them can answer any. Sorry.
So he could be making things up, or he could be guessing at things, right? We can't.
Or he could be inside the circle. He could have infiltrated, given out information. I don't know. But either way, the fact is that no questions have been answered by Team Tommy. They're just blocking the account. Now, if you're going to ask serious questions about a movement that's supposed to be for the victims, the groom victims, you would answer the questions if you haven't got nothing to hide. Why would you block someone from genuine public questions like donations? Where's the donations going? The fact that he's had multiple liquidation companies gone into liquidations on a yearly basis in different names. There's someone else that's worth following as well on Telegram is a channel called the Clanwell channel. Used to be pretty much the research team for Tommy Robinson.
It is the research team.
Was the research team for Tommy Robinson. They would deny this though. But
how do you know it was the research team for Tommy?
Because of the voice notes that's been released on the channel from Glenn Saffer offering pay from Tommy for the work they do.
Okay, so is that your main list, Andy?
From the top of my head, yes. I can't look on. I've not no laptop. I can't go onto the phone while I'm on the live stream. So I'm going from the top of my head.
Yeah.
I mean, to be honest, the main evidence of what's happened in the past would be best from coming from the Clanwell channel. My channel shows what happens when you speak out, with them in the chat channel throwing the abuse, throwing accusations, and also the hypocrisy of them calling the left out for doing what they're doing to me and other people, like turning up at work.
Well, I think the left attack Tommy pretty badly themselves. I mean,
they do.
Yeah,
but when they name people the left, when you don't know whether they're left or not yourself, they put the label out there, just like mainstream media would do with us by calling us racist. So are they really left people, or are these people that are honestly speaking out because they've seen something? Because from what I know and what I've been told by the Tommy Robinson movement, the team, they are lefties. Are they lefties? I came in this movement with an open mind. I didn't come in this movement for a political divide, or I'm not political. There is no politics for me in this country. There's no politics that stand for my values or the future that I wish my children to be into. There is no party that stands for our rights, human rights of living in this country. Taxation to the forced mandations of vaccines, vaccine passes. It's all about money. And I see it with the Tommy movement. I see it with all movements that are supposed to be for freedom.
No. In fairness, Tommy has outlined issues with vaccinations and other politics. I would have agreed with you literally about 3 months ago, because I thought Tommy Robinson only wanted to speak about or highlight grooming gang crime. But having joined his Telegram channel, he does cover all types of political events, and not just grooming gangs and what have you. He is a voice of right-wing politics. Whether you agree with him or not is a different thing. I do or have been going onto his channel frequently, and I can't. He does cover important things like freedom, free speech, and
you've got to look at it like this. If you want to track a certain kind of audience, you've got to give out the advertise or the shares, that whatever you're going to post on the channel to attract that audience. I'm not saying that's what he's doing, but I'm saying it's a possibility that you've got to think about. If you want to attract a certain audience to take money from, you share their politics and what they agree with. I'm not saying he's doing that, but you've got to keep an open mind at everything.
Yeah, so I've created a list as you were speaking, and kindly listing your points. So I don't know the Ginger Tony chap and the Paul Smith chap. I know these are probably names that are more kind of recognized to some other people. I don't know them. We don't have the evidence that you spoke about, so I can't really ask any questions on that. But one good topic you brought up, and something that I've discussed recently, is all this thing about donations. Now, I know Tommy's not Alex Jones, right? And maybe some people will regard him as Alex Jones. I don't know, but Alex Jones in America, in Texas, is a multi-millionaire. Yeah, he is very much, in his own words, the spearhead of this very much the worldwide right-wing movement thought process. He's probably a bit too extreme for some right-wingers, but just bear with me. And he makes millions. He spends millions on his staff and studio or whatever, but he makes millions. And if somebody was to say to me, Manny, there's going to be a handful of these type of public figures, and they're going to go out and represent people's freedom and thoughts and right-wing desires, but they will you need to give them donations as a community and keep them a little bit comfortable, more comfortable than not. I would say, all right, I would rather these people, Alex Jones or whoever, have a bit of money in their pocket, because if they're still on the breadline, how motivated are they going to be and comfortable perhaps to go out and fight the fight for freedom? What's your response to that?
Well, if you're taking in donations for a cause for the victims, are you donating for the victims to help the victims, or are you donating for Tommy to keep rehashing the same characters out on stage? That's a question.
Sorry, say
If
that
let's
again.
say
Sorry, Andy.
if you chose to donate to Tommy Robinson, are you donating to the cause, or are you donating for Tommy's living expenses, or are you donating for whatever it is that he chooses to do with it? That's the mixed questions to put to the public.
Yeah, it's a good question as well. Well, I would suspect that some people will donate to the cause, and some people are certainly motivated to part with their money by him, the individual. He is leading what they see, the donators see as the cause, right? So it's the one and the same. You donated to him for the cause he represents.
Yeah, so I agree. If you're literally running yourself out of a job to do this, if you're making just enough to live comfortably while you're doing this, I don't see a problem with that. But what I do see a problem is, like I stated, if you can ask them the question that they refuse to tell me, what safeguarding measures have they given to the victims they so-called protect or speak about?
So what safeguarding measures do you think he should have done and he hasn't done?
Well, there's charities about, there's foundations about. Why has he not put the victims, rather than asking the victims to put the stories out, he's not directed the victims to these charities and foundations, and nor has he asked the public and his followers to support these foundations. And these foundations like the Maggie Oliver, I mean, I just shared a list out on my channel tonight. I only just found out about this today myself, trying to look for others. So I don't want to just pick one foundation up when there's quite a few around the UK. But the fact is, I've never heard Tommy Robinson speak of these foundations that are really set up for the victims.
So, right. So you're basically saying there's lack of transparency for these donations, right? And of course, when you're not a limited company, when you're not a corporation or a public charity, then there's always that factor in there. But how much do you think the fact that some charities have been involved in child abuse, such as I think it was Badado's, and which was the one that Jimmy Savile worked with? Right. How much? And also, we've also seen that councils and social workers, social services have been involved in not supplying girls to the grooming gang, but certainly what seemed like facilitating the acceptance. How much do you think that may have caused Tommy to think that perhaps he should, take more of control of what happens to the girls?
Things only work when it's out in the public, right? When the public's eye is out on a certain foundation, the public's job is to keep an eye that is a safe place. You've got to think of the victims as your own victims. Would you trust your victims in this organization or this foundation to protect them? The only way to find that is to look into it with as many people as possible that that's got the heart and soul to make sure it's a safe place for your child, the victims. You can't decide as yourself. Tommy can't decide for himself, but there's no push to look into these foundations. Now, Maggie Oliver, I believe there's another one, whistleblowers. I don't know if you looked into these foundations at all, or heard of them before?
No.
They're well known, very well known. Just not to the Tommy Robinson supporters. Unfortunately, like me, I only just found out about this in the last 24 hours.
I mean, the thing is, my take so far is that you're saying that, okay, there are foundations or charities set up for various victims that Tommy doesn't advertise. He just advertises his own. To some extent, I can sort of say, yeah, that does seem a bit funny. But I mean, on the other hand, in a financial sense, I mean, if you're advertising other charities or other fundraisers, then obviously you're cutting your own throat in that sense. You're cutting out your own financial. Yeah. So I mean, if you look, I can appreciate that some of the people and some of the things that they do with this money isn't necessarily kosher, but then again, in order for them to have the studios, have the equipment, the surveillance, all the other things, surely that does cost some money. I mean, I don't know. I don't think he's getting millions, but whatever he's getting, he must.
He's worth 45 million. 45 million he's worth in assets.
Are you serious? Are you saying that Tommy Robinson is worth 45 million?
How do you know that?
Between 35.
Yeah, how can we really verify that?
It's hard because a lot of people don't know about this. If you go on the Clanwall channel on Telegram and you look up these companies he's had in the past and the money they've had and transferred to different companies and different names and limited companies, you start to see how much money they've been transferring from one business to another at the end of every year. I didn't work this out myself. This is a post that was put out on the Clown World channel. The evidence is there. The question's been put out to Tommy. Within 5 days, becoming a secretary. Then 5 days later, you're not the owner of that or part of that company. Between his wife, ex-wife now apparently, and himself and other people amongst the family across the country, from London up to Peterborough. It's a bit of a
but I mean, you see, the problem is this is where things get a little bit tangled up in this sort of web of I don't know, lies, web of hiding things. The fact is that if I have like a multimillionaire, if my uncle was Elon Musk, and then someone goes, oh, look at Banksy, he's asking for money, but he's worth 60 odd billion through his family, or 160 billion through his family. That's my uncle's money. That ain't my money.
That's good.
I don't get any money out of that.
Are you making that money through the backs of the victims? Why the victims? There's no safeguarding issues for the victims. This is the main question.
I agree with you. I agree with you on that. But what I mean is to say that he's got money, he's worth 45 million because his ex-wife has this, or his cousin has that, and his fourth cousin twice removed has that, and his great uncle has that. That's really hard to say he's worth that much money when these are not his money. You're calculating his family's money as part of his money, and so that's why it's. I mean, look, I'm all for. I'm not a. Yeah, well, the thing is, out of this, out of me and Manny, I'm actually the more Tommy Robinson skeptic than Manny is. Manny is a little bit more gung ho about him than I am, and yet in this conversation, I'm coming across as the Tommy defender. I'm not a fan of. I'm not a diehard fan of Tommy. I'm interested in evidence.
I've been exactly the same.
Yeah, that's what I mean. I'm just skeptical about like claims and actual evidence. If I have evidence that damns, Tommy to hell, then so be it. Let the chips fall where they may. But that's what matters is where's the evidence in this, and can we actually substantiate all of this stuff? Because a lot of this right now, from what I'm hearing, is that it could be just filed on the hearsay. And we all know Tommy Robinson has a plethora of enemies just littering the country everywhere. I mean, it's not like he needs another enemy notched on his belt. He's got like billions of them. So it's just that I would prefer, because the reason I trust you, for example, than someone from Hope Not Hate or from the Guardian is because I feel that you don't have that bias of, oh, he's an Islamophobe, so I'm out to get him. No. You are just a person with good intentions who went into this and then witnessed some very nefarious things happening around him, and he's like, and you're caught in this, like, I didn't sign up for this. I was here for righteous reasons. And now this is not what I expected. This is not what I thought this movement was about. So I'm assuming that's what I'm trying to, I'm thinking you're a good faith person who's trying to simply say, this is what I saw. These are the information that I, was given and experienced. And there's something seriously rotten in this movement.
Absolutely. And the further away the time has gone since I split up, the harder and the worse it gets with the information that I find out myself. And I can understand whatever I say and put out is going to be hard for anyone to believe. And I accept that. I get attacked by Tommy Robinson supporters on a daily basis on Getter. I've had screenshots of my head pasted on Muslims saying, you are for the Muslim grooming gangs.
Of course, that would be the first.
I can take that. That's just criticism because I'm going against what they are looking up to. But my biggest question is, why do people need a leader to speak for them when they can all do it themselves? This is the problem I find in this damn country. People are waiting for someone to do something when we all need to do the same thing together.
It's because that's a good point. And the thing is, because the system is such, even in this democratic system, and it's people think democracy is all about people's will being delivered. It's not. Democracy is actually people electing somebody that's already been selected or put in front of them.
Yeah.
But the system is basically how you've just described it, that we need somebody to go forward and represent us. Now, in politics, politicians say they're going to do X, Y, and Z, but in between them being elected and them doing anything. They've received brown paper bags from the globalists and the corporations, and now they're doing basically the opposite to what they promised they would do. So that is something that we need to reinvent, and it's something that I'm kind of hoping that a group can be formed where we really decentralize democracy, which essentially means.
Sorry, carry on. Sorry.
I was going to say, we don't need politicians. We need to remove them. We ourselves can be our own politicians and vote on everything that these idiots in Parliament are doing. So that's my thought process. But please go ahead. You interjected.
Absolutely, everything you just said there is exactly what I've got on my mind. Right, I look at America and Trump and what happened and how you unite the country together. That country was so divided between Democrats and Republicans. So how do you unite the country? You let the criminals be known, you let them in power, you let them do what they do best, which is rip the system apart, rape the people's income with taxes, put the oil prices up, tax prices up and everything. Then those that used to like that party will then start saying, hold on a minute, I can't afford to live, I can't afford to feed my children, I can't afford to pay my bills. Then that's how you unite the country together. I don't know if you're into the American politics.
Yeah, I am. Yeah, you can't work in professional circles without being into it. But just going back to another point that you raised, you mentioned that the bus that Tommy has is rented. But what's your issue with that bus being rented?
He asked for donations, and he said it was given to him for the donations.
I thought I heard him say that some one of his followers had donated it or bought it for him and given it to him. No.
Yeah, and he spent money fixing the bus up, but the bus is the bus is a guy called Barry. I can't remember his surname. Like I say, I ain't got the information.
And you've spoken to Barry, have you?
No, I spoke to someone who speaks to Barry. One of Tommy's old security guys. I'm talking to Tommy. I've got a few people that used to be around Tommy security, a few people that used to be in the team. I've got to be careful what I say here because they'll be listening. I don't want to drop their names in. But the information I've been given is quite informative. The Pegida, Germany, the run over there, the videos of him being in different countries this recent 2 years, a lot of these videos are pre-made and put out to the public. Obviously, I understand Tommy wants to portray to the enemies that he's not where he's at, but you get what I'm saying there. There's a lot of lies coming out and contradictory things. With Tommy, you get a lot of promise with big things happening. You look at the Hearts of Oak, that's become a big nothing burger. A lot of hope and respect came waiting for that to become something, and it hasn't.
Well, wait a minute. Is Hearts of Oak a Tommy Robinson movement, or is that an independent movement?
It originally, I believe it to be an independent movement, but what I've tended to find, anything that gets involved around Tommy Robinson, I'm not saying it's his fault, it may be because he only limelights the Muslim issue and the grooming gangs. The party seemed to die away and lose the support that it had before.
So we from this social. So I don't know if you know. So Speakers Corner Online is a social media platform, right? So Speakers Corner Online actually went to the Telford demonstration, and we, supported the whole demonstration, and essentially Tommy's organization, but we're not affiliated with Tommy Robinson. So how can you say that everyone that seems to support Tommy Robinson is affiliated by them?
Well, even Manny gave a speech on stage, so a lot of people would have labeled us affiliated with the Tommy Circle. I would imagine.
Did you see the crowd that was at that demo? And do you know about Patriotic Alternative? And did you see the drug users at the crowd?
Well, I know about Patriotic Alternative, certainly. I don't know, obviously, who was a drug user or who wasn't. But
I did spot, in fairness, I did spot at least one person who I thought was under the influence. But one of the occasions, I think Danny Tomo had actually kind of sidestepped him because he was making a lot of noise. But I didn't see it as a, he wasn't like a threat.
No, not one or two. I mean, there is quite a bit of videos out of, I'd say, Patriotic Alternative were mainly there. I don't know whether they're there to distract the audience or to attract the audience towards the Mark Collect side of things. But the fact
Yeah,
is,
well, that's their agenda, is to take the Tommy Robinson
Yeah,
following
exactly.
and turn them into Nazis.
but at the
Well-
same time, when you're running a risk when you're doing these demonstrations by attracting those kinds, you're going to put the normal kind of people in the area off from being there when those kinds are there.
But that's not Tommy Robinson's fault, right? I mean,
No.
he's burnt the Nazi flag. He's called the Nazis out. He has a number of how shall we say, ethnic friends, and one of them is a chap that leads the Black and White Unite. I mean, we can't at no point say Tommy Robinson is racist or he wanted to affiliate with a racist. But rather interestingly, there, Andy, you laughed when I mentioned Black and White Unite. Do you not think that's a worthwhile movement either?
That's not his movement. He took that movement of Glenn Saffer and he's made it his own, and he's failed at it because he's not united anyone of any of his colour in that channel, and all he's done is took ideas of other people and made it his own and attacked other people for coming out with the ideas that they had originally come out that he's took. Now, Black and White Unite, originally Glenn Saffer started that, I think, 2 years ago. The groups have been running on channel, and Danny Roscoe appeared from absolutely nowhere. Danny Roscoe is, I can't really just.
When you say Danny Roscoe, is that the same guy as Danny Tomo? Is there different people?
No, he's a gentleman that had the megaphone, Banksy, when we went to Telford, and then.
Oh, Danny Roscoe. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. Right. With Danny Roscoe, I come across him around about springtime before I left the Tommy Robinson movement. I was asked to do video editing, Danny Roscoe, and I don't do video editing for anyone. I only do it for myself. I only can make videos off the top of my head. I can't script things. I just come out with it. Or if I'm listening to a bit of music, I can make a video to go with that bit of music. I'm good at it for my own use, but not for anyone else. If that makes sense. Danny Roscoe has got a bit of an ego problem. If anyone questions things that he talks, like mistakes, World War I, 1930, he gets very butter about it, and he will penalize you for picking his mistakes up. He can't accept criticism. Now, I like criticism. I will take any criticism because criticism makes me better. It makes me improve on my problems that people are coming with me. If I want to grab a bigger audience, I've got to accept my issues that they're coming to me with to improve on. If I say, no, I'm doing all right, I'm doing great, then you're going to push the decent people away.
I agree with you. I just want to just quickly add this caveat. Criticism, constructive criticism, certainly, that is, I think, essential to every human being's existence. But on the internet, as we know in this modern era, there aren't just critics of your work. People just write shit like, I don't like your hair today, you're a cunt. That's like not really a criticism that I can work with.
I can give you an example of that one. If you go onto the Danny Roscoe show and type in the search public annoyance and see the accusation he's thrown at me in response to me criticizing his mistakes, and you'll see what he's about. Yeah.
Well, that's what I mean.
I've been accused of abusing my own child. I've been accused of being a nonce. I've been accused of being a paedophile by the team Tommy, Danny Roscoe. Apparently, I'm a Marxist. I am a commie. I'm Antifa. I'm hope not hate. All because I criticize things that I don't agree with Danny Roscoe. If he is legit, he wouldn't be hiding his past. We've come across some old accounts in a different name, and he denies blatantly they're his accounts because the tag is at Roscoe7. Account name is Scott Tomlin.
So just to kind of, the thing with the past, right? I get your point. I agree that someone's past is really an indication of who they are. Now, I've actually conversed with, even been out for a few jars with ex-convicts, right? And I've when I sit down and have a pint with somebody, I really kind of grill them because I'm fascinated with people's psychology. Banksy will tell you that because I've sat him down in the pub and I've just really get into his brain, right,
You
and
get
see
to
what
work
it's all
them out,
about.
don't you?
And do you know what? I
Understand
found nothing. It was empty.
It's
But
a
anyway,
hollow shell.
but I'll tell you this, Andy. People that want to change do change and have changed,
Yeah.
and that's why I'm always a bit like, fine, somebody's made mistakes in the past. Have they wanted to improve and change? And if they do, we have to, on a moral basis, allow that change, because if we don't, just imagine. We say, for example, all of us here stole a Mars bar at school, and we today, as adults, are still persecuted because of that small theft. We'd be like, come on, like, you know, it'd be ludicrous.
It's the saying goes: if you've made sins and you've admitted your mistakes, that makes you a better person because you've realised your mistakes. But if you are completely blanking your past out to the public when you're running an organisation or a movement, then that's when you need to question him and see what his motives are. We've got it out of him that he was ex-BLM, which is good because he's come away from that.
What? Sorry.
He admitted the other night in our chat channel, that he used to be part of BLM, and I ain't got no problem with that, because if he's come away from BLM to come onto the Tommy Robinson movement, then that tells me he's interested to open his mind up. Like Black Van Man, I don't know if you remember Black Van Man. It's a shame where he's gone, because he was a lad and a half. He was the most opinionated. He'll go to any side and he'll question. Mr. Guy, I don't know where he's gone. Danny Roscoe, on the other hand, he's come from nowhere. He's got no background on where he's come from. There is a few pictures we've got from 2018 with a GI meeting, which is Generation Identity, with Sam Melia of Patriotic Alternative.
Yeah, and
he's adamant it's not him.
Was it Martin Sellner by any chance? Anything to do with him?
I couldn't tell you on that one. My knowledge on that isn't great.
But what's your reason?
I'm not political.
What's your reason to be so suspicious of Danny Roscoe?
Because I wanted to get to know him, as you said, meeting at a pub. You know, I met him at a pub with Ginger Tony and the little circle at a pub, and I asked him a few questions, and he just blanked me. And I thought, okay. And then ever since then, I've asked more questions. I've had people that were the research team had originally fallen out with Tommy's team before I had, regarding Danny Roscoe, because they asked the same questions. Where's his history? Where's he come from? What's his background, and what's his motives?
Can I ask you a question? And I don't mean this to sound petty.
No, that's great.
It just it'll annoy me if I don't. So forgive me if it does sound petty. Now, like you've just said that you've investigated Danny Roscoe because it seems like you're trying to inquire and find out. I mean, clarify this. I'll have to ask the question, and forgive me, I feel a bit uncomfortable asking it, but is there any element of jealousy or maybe anger that something may have happened when you were in the group that you're doing these investigations? I mean, don't get me wrong, Banksy's annoying, and he annoys me most of the time, but I'm not gonna like open a folder on him and see what he's doing or what he's wearing.
No, I'm not. I'm quite known for what I do on protest. I'm quite well known. You know, if you look through my YouTube channels, look for it freely, criticize what you want, and just have a look what I'm about. Right? I'm an active patriot. I'm not here to be famous. I'm not here to make money. I'm not politicized. I want everyone to unite, the left and right, to become one, like in America, to do what you just mentioned about the government, having the People's Parliament. But when there's people going around that are backing organizations and movements that are using donations or trying to get donations for the backs of the innocents and those that have had losses and hurt, been victimized with groomings, I start questioning those people. What are you doing? Why are you not creating a movement, a political movement for the people? You've got the money, you've got the background, you've got the support. All I'm seeing is, I need donations. I need donations or more.
So the Sikhs have created an organization called the Sikh Awareness, and they actually take a lot of the Sikh girls and Indian girls that are groomed over to a certain city in America, and they look after them and that type of thing. So that's what you would call a genuine movement. If Tommy was to create something similar, would your anger towards him and his movement die down, and would you be more open to the work that he's doing behind the scenes?
I'd be open to the work that he's doing behind the scenes. But the fact is, we don't know what work he is doing behind the scenes. All we know is the videos that he posts up is either him victimizing himself or a beg of donations. That's all I see with Tommy, victimize. He's putting himself in a victimizing position. Cars are getting burnt out in Telford, but there's no video footage or evidence of this. Or, I mean, your mum is coming out with some stuff at the minute because he's from Telford about that situation. But with Tommy Robinson, I don't see anything going on in the background. All I see is him popping up on video in random countries doing a beg for donations. I don't see no movement that's going for a change in this country. I don't see no movement that's wanting unity with the people of this country, other than the freedom marches that are on the streets. And this is why I question what they are up to. And this is why I go to the team and ask what is going on, what have they done to help the victims, and where is this movement leading to? What is the mission of this movement? You can wake people up to what's going on with the grooming gangs. Then what do you do after that? Are you just there to speak about the grooming gangs, or are you on a mission to do something about the grooming gangs? Because that's where we're at. All we know is...
Why does he have to do both, right?
He doesn't. We don't know what he's doing. It's a cry for donations and big things happening. It's the same promises every year. Big things happening, big donations, big things happening, and victimized videos of I'm getting attacked. I need to move my wife away, although he owns multiple properties and he has multiple places across to go to. When you're running something like that and you're not coming up with a plan for the audience to see, to join in, to help out, then you've got to question their motives. I mean, if you don't question their motives, they're going to keep doing what they've been doing for the past 10 years. And that's just making the movement a business.
Okay, look, these are fair points. I think I agree with you that now that it's been put into the public domain, that if you represent, let's have a look at it in a corporate way. For every complaint a corporation receives, their calculation is that it represents another 100 to 1,000 people. So let's say Andy, Public Annoyance represents 100 to 1,000 people out there. I think there's good motivation for Tommy and his team to perhaps set up a system that is more open and transparent in terms of donations, and also perhaps look at setting up something like the Sikh Awareness Society, which is pretty much a public, though very a Sikh public community group, which directly helps and protects grooming gang victims of in this case Sikh and Indian heritage. Look, none of these claims that you're making are negative. Hopefully Tommy who's listening to this will agree. But what I am worried about, and Banksy, please come in and give your opinion. What I'm worried about is there seems to be a lot of accusations, like serious accusations about Tommy and very little evidence being provided.
He's in court on the 6th. I don't know if you know this. He's in court on the 6th regarding his bankruptcy claims. There's going to be a lot of things, I believe, that's going to come out about what he actually does own and what he's pushed into other people's names to get the bankruptcy insolvency into place. All I know is look into his company businesses, look into the history, and just research the information yourself. I only put out what I see, and it's up to you how you take it. I'm not going to force you to say, you better not fucking follow that guy because he's a wrong'un. You've all got your own minds. I just want people to keep their minds on a 50-50 basis, like you've just come into it new. That's how I came into the movement. I came into the movement with my own agenda, and I've lost my own agenda because I got sideswept by something that I believed in to be a change for the country. And it hasn't been a change for the country. It's just been of what's been happening in the country. Go back to his TR news. It's the same. It's the same stuff. We already know the bad stuff that's going on in this country, but what are you doing about it with the claims of donation? Yeah, there's money there's money being donated. There's places that could do with that money a lot more than Tommy Robinson can, for instance, the foundations for the victims. But at the same time, I don't see none of these leaders or none of these movements shouting to the public to look in the mirror and remind yourself that you're a natural born leader. You should be standing up to that man next to you, that woman next to you, and that child next to you, whether it's your own or whether it's your next door neighbor. I don't see this.
Okay,
and this is why this country's falling apart.
Okay, just before we veer too far away, I just want to ask these because a gentleman by the name of Atheist Steve, as we all know, well, me and Manny are very familiar with Steve from Speaker's Corner. He's been messaging me with some questions that he wanted to put to you, but unfortunately he's unable to come on the panel, even though I invited him. He simply wants to know, he says, ask Andy, who owns Urban Snoops? And also the video outfit Tommy Robinson puts his stuff out on, and where donations are sent by. Do you know any of these?
SCO runs under Square Foot, which is in Jenna's name.
Who's that?
Sorry, Jenna would be the ex-wife.
Oh, Jenna. Oh, I see. His ex-wife. Okay.
Yeah. And the other question, I don't know the answer to that one. I'm not going to give you something I don't know.
Yeah, and also he also mentioned the studio that never happened, but I presume this is regarding to some kind of production studio. Does he have a established production studio, or is this like a floating production studio where they move from place to place?
He asked for donations to build his big, massive studio. I don't know how long ago it was, but donations were made, and again, nothing has happened. Like most things, he's been calling for donations.
A lot of it probably went down to parties.
I'm not the best speaker. I'm not great at getting this out correctly. All I'm saying is what I know from the top of my head and what I've seen and what I've heard. But the donations to the studio, there is no studio. So where are the donations that were for the studio, and where do those donations go?
That's true. And also, I guess, would you know how these donations are sent via? Do you know the process behind the donations and how the money is, how it sits in which accounts or anything like that? Do you have any insight into that, or is it just all secret?
From the top of my head, what I know is there is a monthly subscription on Urban Scoop. Urban Scoop. There is no, I believe they're not on a company house, but they are known under the Square Foot. I can't remember the exact name for that company. And it also goes to Jenna. So it goes into Jenna's bank account. Okay.
So Urban Scoop is actually Jenna, former Tommy Robinson's ex-wife, corporation. She owns that.
But we kind of have how he sets up his business and structure it's by the by, really. It's I think what we're not really discussing his framework for his business setup. What Andy is really saying, that he would prefer a more of a public, transparent setup.
Yeah.
Where just like charities, for example, or organizations have to submit accounts and get verified. That's what Andy would like. I mean, we haven't seen, any evidence of misuse and stuff. I know Andy, at the very beginning, I've got a note here saying that he was part of the partying that was going on with narcotics and drugs. But we know Tommy Robinson is a bit of a party lad, and likes a good news. That's no secret. That's the end of it. So and the other thing you've said, that you believe there's going to be more evidence coming out, which obviously we can't speak about until the actual evidence does come about. Do you think this interview and has been fair, Andy? Is there anything else that you want to share with us?
Yeah, no, the interview fair. All I'm going to say is just keep your minds open and don't put your heart into it too much, because it will destroy you.
Yeah, look, I'm on a personal level, putting everything aside. I don't know Tommy personally, but I've always thanked him, and I publicly said it, that what he's done for the grooming victims. I know from my background is I'm from a British Sikh family, British Sikh community, so we as a community can verify what Tommy Robinson is saying when it comes to grooming gangs. So just on that level, I appreciate, and that's why I support him. And the problem with me is I do have a blockage when it comes to things that happen behind closed doors. It's just that I'm a very that's just the way I am. Whether that's good or bad, I don't know. You know, things come out in, you know, everyone has a closet. I'm not saying that, but I do agree with it categorically that if Tommy Robinson was to become more transparent with the donation, where it goes, that would be a welcome change going forward.
Yeah, but that's like saying if the transparency in the questions being put forwards without being shadow banned or blocked by the channel admins, or me having his team members turn up in my workplace and the threats of death. I've had Helgoa. I don't even know Helgoa. She used to be PA, Tommy's PA.
Oh, no.
Surrogate mother. She used to have the EDL address to address back in the old EDL days. There's some history on Helgoa about her politics, but that's history. Helgoa wished death on anyone that questions Tommy regarding this. I mean, I've heard that there's some people that have been looking into the chat of my channel and they didn't like what they're seeing with the language of certain people. There's a lot of accounts in there that we don't know who they are, but we've caught one out tonight pretending to be a survivor, trying to bait me into a trap. It's a dangerous game. It keeps me busy in my free time. It's very busy, and it is a bit of a worry sometimes when I go back to my yard knowing whether there'll be people there. But it's been since 5 months now.
Interesting.
So in end of September, maybe October, November, since they were at my workplace on a Saturday. I wasn't there. But
what you described to me is actually very similar to what Scientology does to any critique of Scientology.
Well,
they hound them, they sit in cars watching their houses, and then they throw like slews of litigation towards the individual. Now,
yeah.
Tommy isn't obviously doing that with you, or you know, they're not doing it with
no,
anyone.
not himself. It's the team that are trying to shut me up. But I've got the videos of Tony turn up in my work. I've also have my boss. I'm not going to prepare to put that out public of what he's been receiving, but it's disgusting what they've been saying about me to my boss. Phone calls as well. It's not just the Tommy movement. It's people that used to be around the Tommy movement back in the days that got dumped on the MEF donations. That'd be the reality report. I don't even know Vinnie Sullivan.
Yeah. Reality report, Vinnie Sullivan. Yeah, I know that guy.
Well, he got dumped for Danny Tomo for the MEF, the charitable stuff for the MEF, didn't it? That's why he kicked off it. That's how the Danny wanking video came out. And I know it's the same person. Yeah, it's Vinnie Sullivan that really.
Danny, as in Danny's Tomo was masturbating on video.
Yeah, to a girl called Lisa Barbaros for the MEF. You not know that?
No.
Did you not know that?
I didn't know that.
Like I said, there's so much been going on. It's hard for me to get this out without going too fast about it. I'm not a public speaker, and I've never wished to be a public speaker. And I mean, I'm open. I'm not going to lie. I'm open. If I don't know something, I will tell you I don't know. But if I've seen something, I'll say it openly. I don't care what anyone will say. I will say what I've seen. Too many guys in this movement are quick to go.
Yeah.
I can understand if they've got families that have been threatened, you know?
Yeah. Well, that's what I mean. If you're looking at the level of intimidation that you're claiming you've experienced, then anyone who has family, who has, you know, people that they love, and also important work, like people have certain jobs which their bosses are not going to be as grateful as you are, or not going to be as lenient as yours is, but when people send them, you know, messages of this man's a pedophile.
I've got an idea for you. When you're finished, go and check my last video uploaded on my YouTube channel. It's Danny Roscoe's message to me in my chat channel. It's 4 minutes long. It's him calling me a woman abuser, this, that, and the other. Accusations that I've run over my ex. I've broken my child's ribs, apparently. This is all out on his channel, as well as my channel. It's just, I'm showing the public this is what happens when you ask questions and speak out about what they're doing in the background. Like Manny said, he doesn't know what's going on in the background. I do. And it's what I know in the background. I know the foreground is completely fake. It is a business. But I can't prove it to you. All I can say is keep your eyes open, keep your mind open, and don't get too passionate into that movement. Stick to what you believe in and stick what you trust with. I'm not here to manipulate the truth. I'm here just to open your minds up to what I've seen, and you can believe whatever you want to believe with what I've seen. If you ask the questions regarding donations, let me know how that goes. That's all I'm going to say. Because the donations, I think, is the biggest one that needs to be asked. We need more transparency. Because the beg, it's on an almost weekly basis now. And people, since I've spoken out, not just me, other people that have spoken out, have noticed so many people are now asking the same question. And I guarantee you, you ask about those donations and you keep asking them and asking them and asking them, you'll have Hope Not Hate slapped over you, or you're Antifa, or you're the lefty.
Understood. All right, Andy, thank you very much for a extremely powerful and interesting interview. If you know, so when do you think that the evidence that you spoke about, when do you think that will be coming out? Is that something
you got the Tommy's up in court on the 6th for May regarding his bankruptcy. Whether he'll turn up to that, I don't know, because he's missed his last 2. The one with the Danny Tomo, all I know is it's ongoing. That's as much as I know. Keep an eye on the channel. I will post what I've seen. Any updates, I will definitely be posting it. 9 times out of 10, a lot of my stuff does come off Getter and Twitter with other people that I've been following them and that claim to be close to them. But other than that, like I said, keep yourself open, keep your mind open, and I'll be interested in talking to you about what you're saying with the People's Parliament, because it's something that I feel needs to be put public.
Yeah, and that's and the interesting thing about that, Andy, is it does away with this whole left-right central politics, and it does away with whether you're pink, black, orange, brown, Christian, Sikh. It does away with that because it delivers true democracy. So that is something.
Like you said, gets rid of left and right, and not only that, we've got an issue. You put the issues on the table, and we all come up and see what the best solution we can all come up together with. Like you said, a democracy. Because right now we've only got an illusion of a democracy, as you said, selecting the selected.
Correct. That's very true. Thank you very much for coming on, Andy. Hopefully, we'll have you back on in the near future. But I really appreciate you coming on. And Max did message while we were online. He was also thanking you for kind of stepping forward with his request for the interview. So thanks again, and hopefully we'll speak to you soon.
Definitely. Keep in contact with me on Telegram. That's the best way to get.
I've also I've got an image of your YouTube channel, Manny. If you want to share that, I can't put the link in because I don't have permission. But this is public annoyance, so anyone who's out there, please go and like and subscribe and check it out.
Brilliant. Thank you very much, Andy. No doubt we'll see you soon.
You're welcome. Thank you, lads. Thank you very much.
Have a good one.
All right, so that was an interesting interview. Banksy, let's take a few moments to shed our thoughts and opinion. Did you want to go first, or did you want me to?
Yeah, I'll go because I don't want to get too much into this because we've already ran an hour over. Half an hour over. Yeah, this was very revealing, very interesting. I myself, as you know, Manny, you and I always have slight different takes on Tommy. And I've never been an always Tommy fan. It's just sometimes if he does good work, then it's fair enough. But yeah, the money situation is definitely getting serious with Tommy Robinson now. He is, people are becoming very, very skeptical. I can see why he's pushing the drive for begging for more money, because I would imagine the donations are drying up probably quite badly, and he's supporters of other like rebel media and stuff. I don't think he makes anything out of those guys. He can't really make any money out of his presence on social media because the only place he's allowed at the moment is Getter, and I don't think Getter is paying him anything. So yeah, generally, I don't think he can be transparent with the finances. I don't think he can, because number one, he himself is declared bankruptcy, so he can't be part of anything that makes money. That's why his wife is the head of Urban Snoops and all the rest. So I don't think Tommy Robinson can be transparent with his money, but certainly Urban Snoops and other, organizations that are the ones who are collecting the donations, I suppose they could be. But I think that as I've been saying it all along, that the time for Tommy Robinson has, or in my opinion, gone past already. He's already gone. He's already worn out his welcome. And unfortunately, what I fear is that it's a line from what's it called? I think it was Batman. You can be the people's hero or live long enough to be the villain. And I think that's how it's going with Tommy. Tommy is going to now milk this so much that he will ruin all the good work that he's done in the past by eventually making himself into the villainous character that the left media has always been hoping. I think this is what happens. To this is the way the British government establishment, the cathedral, if you will destroy you. It's not that they will kill you. If they kill you, they'll make you a martyr. But if they destroy you as an individual and turn you into the villain that they always wanted in order to destroy you, then they would have comprehensively destroyed you, that there will be no one else in your wake, because anyone who wants to come in your wake, then they'll just simply be tarred and feathered with your reputation. So in this way, they can uproot this movement entirely without having to, as I said, deal with people who come after a martyr. It's far better to deal with a crushed individual, or at least a person who's already been demonized and made into an absolute villain by his own hand in this case, because he's not, he knows that the British establishment is going to demonize him, but now he is ruining his own reputation slowly with these antics. Unfortunately, I think Tommy personally should pack it up, possibly take a back seat to maybe new blood that will come forward, maybe help other people to push this movement forward. But he himself, he's got way too much baggage now to be involved in these things. He has to essentially retire. But the problem is, like I said before, what's he going to do? Is he going to open a corner shop? Is he going to open a restaurant? Any business, anything he gets involved with, people are going to come and burn it to the ground. They're not going to let it stand. He's messed with too many. He's burned too many bridges, and he's messed with the establishment way too much in this country. Tommy Robinson's hope is in the United States. He should seriously consider moving to the United States, trying to get residency there, and work on the behalf of like the Republican Party, the GOP, the Conservatives there. That's what he should be doing. That's his future. In England, he's screwed. That's it. Go ahead.
Well, first and foremost, Tommy's not some kind of pussy that he needs to pack up bags and go over to America. We need to be a realist about the Tommy Robinson movement, and there's two halves, right? There's the first half and there's the second half, right? So first and foremost, for the British people in general, there's nobody that can bring out the crimes of the grooming gangs like Tommy can. And like Andy said, and I had respect for Andy when he confirmed this, that these crimes do exist. The grooming gang crime of Muslim grooming gangs is a unique crime, and he, like he said, he takes his hat off to Tommy for that, and there's no doubting that. If Tommy disappears, okay, fine, we have a couple of Sikh organizations that can bring out the truth about Muslim grooming gang, but nobody can do it like Tommy Robinson. Like when he has connections with all the free speech platforms such as InfoWars and Getter and what have you. So on that respect, I don't have any issues with Tommy Robinson. Now, there seems to be a very, very dark corner that Andy spoke about some evidence about certain things, and some other people have spoken to that. We can't really discuss or kind of expand on that because they're really, at this case, rumors. And if those rumors materialize with evidence, then we'll tackle them at that point. Now, the issue is, as how Andy left us, is what's happening with the money, because people seem to be saying that the money is being passed from one organization, liquidated, and goes to another, so on and so forth. Is that an area of concern? Yes, absolutely. However, how grave a concern is it? For me, I think it's quite a grave concern, in fact. And I think how Andy was saying, or how we discussed, that Tommy should set up some kind of open, transparent organization to show where the money is going. And look, like Alex Jones, people like me are not going to think that Tommy Robinson should live on a state benefit or anything. If he pays himself a healthy salary, then he pays himself a healthy salary. You know, plenty of chiefs at these charities pay themselves 6 figures plus for the work that they do. So he's perfectly able to do that. So those are the 3 aspects. And it seems like that people that don't like Tommy are not really, though Andy did, I must admit, are not really necessarily thanking him for the good work that he does. I just want to concentrate on the area that they can lead some negativity. And I'm not saying that negativity is not justified, but there's no point discussing aspects of Tommy Robinson that are unproven because they're just rumors. It's like saying Banksy has a secret jet even though he drives a supersonic Ferrari. It's like, come on, it's we can't really discuss that. So that's my opinion. I know there's plenty of Tommy Robinson haters in the chat. And look, I think it's 50-50 at the moment. My honest opinion is Tommy's done some great work. He's done a great PR job at exposing those crimes. And, we'll have to see what comes out. If this so-called hidden information evidence comes out, then we'll tackle it. And if Tommy Robinson is thinking of creating a more transparent organization, I think that will be welcomed as well. That's my thoughts on it.
Just before we get off this show, can I just play this one final clip, which, by the way, is on my Speakers Corner Online channel. So I recommend for all those of you who wish to see some juicy, spicy stuff on my side, you can do that. By the way, on Speakers Corner Online, we also have a live streaming facility, which is Go Live. Plus, you can now upload your music, which I myself have my own little I started my own little music collection. This one is a personal, private joke between me and Manny. He knows what that is. But this was what I found on TikTok, and I thought this was worth sharing on Speakers Corner Online as well. And I think it's worth for you guys to listen to key phrases on this.
Hi, Nadine. So what's your job and what's your department? What do you do?
So I'm Secretary of State for the Department of Digital Culture, Media and Sport, which means that we're responsible for making sure you have super fast broadband in your home. That means you can downstream your movies. We're responsible for making sure the internet's a safe place for you to go to. We want to make the internet in the UK, the safest internet in the world. We're responsible for everything to do with sport, for making sure you've got football pitches and that you have tennis pitches in your communities where you can play and exercise your sports, museums, theatres, culture, music. It's a huge department, very diverse, so much in there, and a lot of it relates to you.
Okay, just want you guys to, I don't know if you caught that, they want to make the internet a safe place and the safest internet in the world. You know what that means, right? That's just straight up code for censorship. Yeah, they're coming to censor your asses. This is what this woman wants. When they say safe, they mean you have to shut up. They don't mean that, it's because they're protecting the children. It means that you can only say the things we approve. That's what safe means. Whenever the government offers you security, tell them to go F themselves. Because those who exchange their freedoms for a little bit of security shall lose both and deserve none.
Well said, Banksy. While you got your screen up, did you know that they've introduced some new rooms?
Let me reshare. Hold on.
Yeah, so they've also they've done an update. So obviously the iOS, Apple, iPhone, Mac app is now up and running, and also the Android app has been updated. But if you go to the 3D rooms, have you seen they've updated the rooms there?
I didn't see. I'll be honest. I'm not a massive 3D guy.
Do you not go on there for the actually let me join you 1 second. 1 second.
Oh,
Let me come
God.
to that room.
This is so cringe.
Where's it? Stay there.
What room do you want to go into, though? Is this the gallery? This is the gallery, by the way, everyone.
Stay in the gallery. I'll come to the gallery.
This is, as you can see, there's Sarah Garvey. I actually spoke to Sarah Garvey on Sunday in regards to I was on his show briefly, on his call-in show, regards to his take on Amber Heard and what's it called? Amber Heard and Johnny Depp thing. Oh, is Manny, are you here? I can see.
Why are you walking to face me like a man?
Where are you? I don't even. Oh, there. Oh my God! Look at that face. That's a face only a mother would love, and I'm not even sure a mother would love that. I'm even questioning what, even if a mother would love that. I want to actually show. Isn't that one of?
Can you change rooms and go to?
Yeah. Hold on. Let me just get to show Atheist Steve. I think that's Atheist Steve, isn't it?
Yes.
That is Atheist. That was next to Raj. Dude, sorry, Garvey. Oh wow. Okay, what room do you want to go into?
Can we go into the music room?
Music room. What the hell? I haven't seen this one before. What is this all about? Yeah, but dude, the music might be copyrighted or something.
No, it won't be. It's all right.
Many years from now.
So it plays videos and music, whatever you want to do.
Oh, I see.
You can change the music as well, apparently.
Why is the floor messing around?
Oh, you press pause.
Come back here and tell our enemy.
It's like I'm trying to move forward and it's moving sideways. Something dodgy with this room. All right. There you are. Nice. Very interesting. What's on the roof?
So I don't know if you knew you can actually call the other person.
How do you call the other person?
So I've just pressed call.
Where?
Has it not come through? There you go. Look, answer it.
Yeah, but I got this music thing playing as well, man. Dude, it's all over the shop now. I can't even hear you. Can you hear me? Are you talking?
Yeah.
Oh my God, it's gonna echo like crazy, dude. We gotta...
I've left the room now. I've left. You're on your own. It's too addictive. You end up spending too much time on there. Are you in the grey corridor? The graphics on that's amazing, actually. Look at that.
I got to check these out on my own time. Is there a porn room?
No.
Is there a Pornhub room, Manny?
No, there's not. But
can I virtually smack the monkey on this room?
Some of the rooms.
This is it. There is nothing else to this.
No, there's a secret entrance and exit, but you've got to find it.
Oh God, like I care.
I've only just found. Anyway, let's not do that. It's very addictive. All right, look, we're gonna end the stream now. I've got things to do anyway. But look, thank you very much to Andy for coming on, for being our guest. Thank you to Banksy for being a great co-host, as always, with his information and comments. And thanks to everybody in the chat. Appreciated everyone joining and sharing their texting thoughts. Any closing comments from you, Banksy?
No. Don't trust your government. Be careful. Voting is for fools. And pointless.
I walked out one May morning.
Goodbye, everyone.
May morning
Peace.
betime, I met a maid from home had strayed, just as the sun did shine. What makes you rise so soon, my dear? Your journey to pursue. Your pretty little feet, they tread so neat, strike off the morning dew. I'm going to feed my father's flock, his young and tender lambs, that over hill and over vale are waiting for their dams. Oh stay, you handsome maid, and rest a moment here, for there is none but you alone that I do love so dear. How gloriously the sun doth shine, how pleasant is the air. I'd rather rest on my true love's breast than any other way. For I am thine and thou art mine, no man shall uncomfort thee. We'll join our hands in wedded bands, and marry we shall be.
This is not a test. This is your emergency broadcast system announcing the commencement of the annual purge sanctioned by the U.S. government. Police, fire, and emergency medical services will be unavailable until tomorrow morning at 7 a.m. when the purge concludes.